I did talk in my other videos about body dehydration on empty nose syndrome after many years, such as 10-15 years. But actually I think what's important here is this dehydration. It's actually the biggest problem on this is loss of blood volume. So let's maybe just try to make this clear. That's why I'm making this video. Yes, the body does dehydrate, does lose fluid, but also, and this is where it's really important, we lose blood volume. So if you Google up, a normal person will have between an adult 4 to 5 quarts or liters of blood volume in the body. And I believe that because of nostril dryness, which affects the structure, the microstructure of the lungs in the long term, the lungs start losing fluid, but actually the fluid that's inside the lungs, it's blood, pure blood. The lungs are full with blood. You can Google up, maybe look on Wikipedia the way it works. The lungs again are like a sponge inside, not a hole. It's not like a bag. It's a sponge filled with tiny blood vessels and spaces, and these blood vessels are full of blood. So basically, when we dehydrate, when you lose humidity from inside the lungs, exhaling the air out in a person with empty nose syndrome, not in a healthy person, basically what's being lost, it's volume of this blood. If you want, the fluid of the blood is being lost, not necessarily the red cells or other components of the blood, but just the fluid of it. And this fluid loss, it's causing, just my theory, obviously, like I've seen in most of my videos, I say these are just my opinions. You may want to consult of a doctor, maybe a specialist, to get a better opinion. But this loss of volume, let's say I have 5 liters, 5 quarts. I'm better with liters because I'm Canadian and European, but I know most people are in the United States watching this video. So liters up to a point, 5 liters is about 5 quarts. So this is perhaps, yeah. So let's say instead of 5 liters of blood, at some point, maybe at the end of the night, in the morning, when I did dehydrate through the night because I couldn't drink water, and watch my other videos where I recommend drinking water every hour, constantly through the day, half a glass. Don't skip. I will explain perhaps on a moment later. So in the morning, maybe instead of 5 liters, I will have 4.5 liters, 4.3.2 liters of blood in my body. And this, you just imagine, this may cause problems of the way the body functions. This may cause heart palpitations because the heart feels there is less blood volume, so it will try to pump more blood or so. Maybe it also has to do with blood pressure. I'm less aware of these details, but it does impact the way it works, the heart itself. Also, I talk in other videos about various side effects like eye sensitivity, teeth pain. I'm not sure I did a video on this, no, probably no, but during nighttime I have a very increased hear sensitivity. So my hearing is increased, not decreased, increased. I could hear basically the same noise during the day appears louder to me at night. Again, I believe it's related to this. Yes, I was saying about this blood loss, and so this I think it's important. Also, I did mention in other videos about I don't know how to describe this, but I'll call realistic dreams, very, very realistic dreams, which are hard psychologically when you wake up to find out that it wasn't just a dream, basically. So all this, in my opinion, are possibly results of this blood loss. Could be other associated problems, but I think pointing to this, and this is basically the title of this video, how to say this, I just want to point to possible issues, right, which may actually have a certain, maybe important to a certain point. So maybe people in the future will just, you know, if they had some health related problems, if you know this may be an issue with ENS, then maybe you just, you know, at least you know why it's happening. Like I said, what I do for this problem, dehydration, blood loss is I keep drinking water through the day. I would drink between 2 or 3 liters of water, quarts, and this should be a maximum actually, because the body cannot take too much water actually. You can Google again, type something like drinking too much water or water toxicity. There is an effect of the body when you drink too much water, it loses hydrolytes, I think, or something like this, salts, and this is not good. It loses this through too much urine. So 2-3 liters of water a day, but what's really important is every hour, even every half an hour, I have a bottle with me at all times. And this is important. Why? Because when you lose blood volume, the body has to replace this blood volume. Right? It has to kind of, I don't know, create it basically. And the blood is not easily or quickly created by the body. It takes time, and by drinking water every single hour, even better, every half an hour to the day, not a big amount, maybe half a glass or so. What we do is we give the body a constant addition of water, so the body can constantly create new blood, just to, you know, replace the lost blood volume. So that's why it's important, in my opinion, to drink constantly water. So again, perhaps a wrong way would be just not drinking water the whole morning and then, let's drink 1 liter of water all of a sudden. That's not the right way to do it. Really constant amount of water every hour, half an hour. I can tell you that there have been days when, for whatever reason, usually when I'm away, I travel for some reason, I go to another city, I didn't drink water for 2 or 3 hours, or very little, actually very little. And also, if you watch my channel, perhaps I did a trip one day outdoors. I just did hike a little bit, not big effort, but during that hike, when I say drink water every hour, I do not feel thirst. I don't drink because I feel thirst. I just got used myself to drink water. It's just like your breath, basically. You don't have to feel thirst. Don't wait to feel thirst. Just drink water. So during that hike, because I was just hiking, you know, I didn't pay attention. I brought a lot of water with me. I had at least about 2 liters of water, but I just didn't pay attention to keep drinking water. And for 2 or 3 hours, I drank a smaller amount of water than normally I would do. And that night, my nostrils were dry, blocked. I had a bad sleep that night. So just to give you an idea what happens when you don't drink constantly, when I don't drink constantly water through the day, when I skip a period of the day. And also, obviously, when I wake up at night, I try to drink water if possible, you know, if I'm not too sleepy. Just a little bit or a small amount of water, because I don't, I wake up several times a night, but I don't wake up fully to, you know, drink water every time. So this is just my take on this problem. I can also give you another tip. This dehydration, body fluid, body water, blood volume loss, I think it's increased when I'm outdoors. When I do some activity, whatever, even when I walk outdoors, like when I do my groceries, I walk to my groceries maybe half an hour or so, I have a bottle of water on me, or I would just drink a little bit more water before, just to compensate for the next half an hour. But if I spend more time outdoors, I feel like I'm dehydrating more. So you need to just compensate to this. And I don't really do sports. Sometimes I do a little bit of jogging in the morning, but I can tell you, for instance, this morning I went out. It's cold, but I just tried to do a bit, like 5 minutes jogging, not fast, just like slightly running, basically. And I can tell you, because in the morning, obviously through the night, the body dehydrates more, loses more blood volume. In the morning, the body will not have, obviously will have lost, have the same amount of blood. And when I try to do a jogging in the morning, after 1-2 minutes, I basically start choking. I described this in another video. I have a video about exercising and ENS. I start choking. I simply feel like I cannot get air inside my lungs all of a sudden, basically within a few seconds. And this happened very fast this morning after maybe 2 minutes of running, or maybe 1 minute of running, very, very quickly. It feels like I cannot get the air to get inside my lungs. It's just like I have something in my throat, blocking my throat. It's creepy, to be honest, this kind of feeling. I don't feel like I'm going to fall unconscious or so, but I feel like I have to really force myself to breathe, and still the air doesn't get in my lungs. So it's not just a sensation. The air simply does not. I'm not sure what's happening. It's like the air exchange doesn't happen. The air doesn't get the blood doesn't get oxygen or something like this. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think it's a constriction of the trachea or so. It's something, perhaps the lungs are so dry in the morning that it's simply the air doesn't, the oxygen doesn't transfer through the air to blood interface or something like this. I talk about this in another video. So yes, that's just another example, but also I had people who describe how they live in hot areas. Like if you live maybe, for instance, in the Middle East or in Africa someplace, or Asia someplace, hot and dry climates, or Arizona, around that area. I'm not sure which are the dry area, hot dry area in the United States, but if you live in that area, I'm pretty sure you are going to dehydrate, lose even more blood volume, because you inhale dry air, and that causes the lungs to dehydrate even more. So unfortunately, that is a problem that aggravates this problem. I can give you an example. One of my main dishes is bread, just a pita bread that I bake myself on an iron cast plate that I put on a heater, like on a burner, electric burner, one of those. And this plate heats up, and obviously it kind of, there is hot air elevating, like rising from the plate. And if I stay above that plate and inhale that hot air for maybe 1 hour or so, the next night I know I'm going to have a problem sleeping with dry nostrils, blocked nostrils, and so on. So just a short period in the day, if I am exposed to hot, dry air, that causes me problems. So you can imagine maybe people who live in very hot, dry areas, at least half the year, the summertime, I can imagine they have having a much worse situation, condition, and it's really difficult. Let me just finish this video by saying that the same problem with dry, hot air happens. I'm in Canada, so winter here, it's pretty cold, and most homes have these baseboard heaters, electric heaters along the wall, those long elements, and those badly dry up the air when they heat up the room. So basically I can tell you that I do my best to heat up the room the least with those things, because it simply dries up the air. And besides this dry air, it's also the hot dry air. If I would stay, for instance, I have one of these electric heaters right underneath my desk, so when I stay at my desk, the hot air rises underneath the desk, and then from the side of the desk comes to my face. I really feel it. I mean, it's not just a little bit, and I had to turn off the heater because I know if I inhale that hot air for half an hour or so, I will have problem with the next night. And I just wanted to say there was something. So the first nights of this winter, I had this heating of the room. I didn't tune it down, so my room was heated or warmed up or heated up by these electric heaters more than it's comfortable for me, basically, with this problem. And I do remember that by the end of the night, I was having this problem with my nostrils becoming blocking by the end of the night because of the air in the room was too dry because of these electric heaters. So by the end of the night, especially towards the morning hours, maybe from 4-5 a.m. or so, my nostrils will become more dry, more blocked, and I was having more problem breathing this way and having a bad sleep because of this, or worse sleep. So as soon as I reduced the heat in the room, this problem went away. So it's always a balance. Again, this happened at the end of the night because at the end of the night the body becomes more dehydrated. We lose more blood volume. And remember, this blood volume is important for you for a proper breathing, right? The blood is what captures the oxygen when you inhale air, and also the blood is what is also eliminating the carbon dioxide to the exhaled air. So if you have any questions, look in the comment section, or just watch my playlist with videos about empty nose syndrome.